guys, today I'm on noisy 3rd Avenue and we're going to be doing a video filming location for the movie Taxi Driver. Now you know I do a whole series of filming locations of movies that were shot in New York, and this particular one we're starting off with Taxi Driver, the 1976 film starring Robert De Niro and Jodie Foster. The restaurant that's right behind the bus that's passing right now, in the 1970s that used to be Disco Donut. And in the movie Taxi Driver, there's a scene where Robert De Niro takes Jodie Foster for lunch and tries to convince her to leave the work that she's doing. That's the famous scene where Jodie Foster is spreading jelly on toast and has a jelly and sugar sandwich. But that's the Disco Donut, which looks vastly different now to what it did back then. And there's a whole bunch of scenes from Taxi Driver that was shot in this location. So what we're going to do now is we're going to walk down to the next block. Now because I'm doing this live, I'm drawing quite a bit of attention to myself. It's because I got that sexy accent, you know. So several scenes from Taxi Driver were shot on 13th Street, which is what we're walking up to now. Now it's 45 years since the film was made, so the area looks vastly different now to what it did back then.
Wait. No, not the
Now, the scene you see is Robert De Niro drives his taxi and parks it right behind where this car is there. The road was heading in the other direction at the time. And this is where he's going to meet up with Jodie Foster. Now the first you see of Jodie Foster, he's looking through his rear view mirror, and Jodie Foster is actually where I am right now, crossing over the road. Now she gets to right here. This is where Robert De Niro gets out the car and he starts talking to Jodie Foster. Now that particular scene finishes. I'm going to let this lady pass first because I want to get a good shot of it if I can. He's chatting to Jodie Foster right here while his taxi's parked there. I'm trying to get a good shot of the background because that's somewhat similar to what it was in '76. And then Jodie Foster directs De Niro over to where Harvey Keitel was stood right on the corner there. Now there's people right there, so hopefully they'll, I might have to pause this bit because I'm waiting for them to go in the restaurant. Okay, here we go. Now actually the door's completely different now. They've changed it completely. But at the time in '76, Harvey Keitel was stood right in this doorway right here. And this is where Robert De Niro comes up to Harvey Keitel and they discuss meeting up with Jodie Foster. Now up until recently it actually looked the same. I'm a little surprised it's changed now. But I'll put the picture in. Now it also featured later in the film, right towards the end, where Robert De Niro, who's now sporting a mohawk, comes up to Harvey Keitel, but he seems to have forgotten what Robert De Niro looked like, I guess because of the mohawk. And there's the great scene where Harvey Keitel flicks the lit cigarette at Robert De Niro, and I absolutely love that particular scene. This is like before the days of CGI. So while De Niro is talking to Harvey Keitel right here, Jodie Foster is stood right over here. Now you can actually see in the image that I've attached, the fire hydrant. It looks different now to what it did 45 years ago, but it's still in the same location. So Jodie Foster was like stood right here, and then De Niro comes after he speaks to Harvey Keitel, and they head on down the road there. Now in the later part of the film, probably missed it because my eyes and ears were everywhere. After Harvey Keitel flicks the cigarette at Robert De Niro, Robert De Niro shoots him. He then walks around a car that's right here, and he comes and sits on these steps right here. Now it's actually very dark in the movie. Hopefully I can lighten an image so that you can see De Niro sat there. And then, after he mulls his options, he heads down to the brothel that you see earlier in the film, where Robert De Niro was walking into the brothel with Jodie Foster. And it should be the one with the blue railing there. But after Robert De Niro shoots Jodie Foster, hark at me. After Robert De Niro shoots Harvey Keitel, he then comes into the brothel, which is right here, and that's where the big shootout took place. Now, I actually thought it was 228 and not 226, because in Taxi Driver, the exterior looks exactly like this right here. But back in 1976, this house next to it, 226, god damn it, 226 was symmetrical to how 228 looked. So there's an overhead shot when the police arrive, and they pile into 226. Now that right by the door is where Harvey Keitel was killed, or at least in the film anyway.
Why would you be filming that?